You wanna see something cool?
Hi! This video is oh, what's the matter? Huh? Ah! Please stop it! This is not food! These are gifts and presents for our fans! Oh no!
Don't forget to subscribe!
Many things were found from his room. From those evidences, it is possible to deduce that I am loved by you. Many things were found from my room. From those evidences, it is possible to deduce that I also love you. Nothing was found from her room. However, I can't deny the existence of an undiscovered evidence X of unfaithfulness.
And welcome back to our review of the holiday specials. And in this video, we'll be reviewing Invader Zim's final episode 27, the most horrible Xmas ever. Let's get this started!
Ah, spoiler alert!
This episode begins 2 million years in the future, in which a robotic snowman named Mr. Sludgy is telling children the story of the most horrible Christmas ever. It all started when Zim, Gar, and Minnie Moose were on the streets trying to make money. With no luck. All they receive is a beating heart and a tuna sandwich. However, eventually the Urkin notices that half-man in red coats and white beards are stealing all of his money. He captures one and, upon interrogating his victim, he understands the story of Santa Claus. Amazed by the incredible amount of power Santa has over the humans, Zim orders his computer to drain them all Santa's brain. And, as the Christmassy knowledge in the human's brain flashes on a screen before Zim's eyes, he begins to cackle maniacally as he formulates his next foolproof plan to destroy humans. After learning of the amount of influence Santa has over humanity, Zim decides to create a Santa suit so he can use it in order to masquerade as Santa. Zim figures out Zim's scheme and heads out to stop him in order to not only save Christmas, but to save the entire human race as well. Unfortunately, Santa has the blind worship of every human on Earth, save Professor Membrane, who has a grudge against Santa and Gaz, who is angrily staring at a dog who she believed bit the head off of her Bitey the Vampire doll. Gathering the human race at the North Pole, Zim uses his kringly influence to introduce a new Christmas tradition. The Yuletide helping Santa build a giant teleporter capable of sending all humans to their doom. However, Dip appears and confronts him in front of everybody, trying to expose him as a fraud. And of course the humans treat Dip with their usual contempt. Zim has him dragged away to the Jingle Jail. Dip escapes from his prison on Zim's ship and disguises himself as one of Zim's robot elves. Zim, not realizing that the elf is actually Dip, starts venting with him in the room. Zim explains that he is using the Santa suit to trick humanity into building a teleporter that will take him to the tallest for enslavement. But however, the suit Zim is wearing is starting to take over his body because it actually thinks it is Santa. This malfunctioning, Zim says, is brought on by prolonged exposure to anything Christmassy, is as demonstrated seconds later when Gur starts to sing Christmas carols. As Zim struggles to regain control, Dib attempts to take advantage of his enemy's distraction and strikes Zim from behind with a candy cane. Unfortunately, this results in Dib finally being exposed. Zim decides to put him in the extra strong Jangle Jail before dropping him out of the ship and onto a sinking chunk of ice after Dib questions why he didn't put him in there beforehand in the first place. Almost immediately, Dib calls Gaz for help, but she initially refuses, but quickly comes to rescue her brother on Tack's ship after he confesses that he decapitated her beloved Bitey the Vampire doll. On the flight back to the North Pole, Dib, now beaten to a pulp and bruised by Gaz, contacts his father. Membrane initially is unwilling to cooperate, but Dib quickly catches his attention when he mentions Santa. Now willing to help his son for a change, Membrane gives his son permission to use all of his anti-Santa arsenal. Armed with a giant robot suit, Dib confronts Zim again at the North Pole when the teleporter is complete. Unfortunately for both Zim and Dib, the Santa suit has taken full control over the Arkin. When Dib attacks it, the suit mutates into a monstrous, nightmarish version of Santa and attacks Dib. So after a huge battle, Dib defeats the giant Santa and Zim is set free from the suit, and the mutated Santa monster is launched into space. However, it's truly not a happy ending. Zim, now dressed as the Easter Platypus, convinces the human race that Dib killed Santa and they all tackle him. When the story ended, we go back to Mr. Sludgy talking to the children and explains to them that Santa is not in fact dead, but is in space gathering strength to attack the Earth every Christmas, and that is why they live in a protective dome, thus ending the special.
Did you know that?
Mr. Sludgy is a reference and tribute to the classic Reagan-Vass stop-motion Christmas special Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, in which a talking snowman narrates the entire movie. Some of the kids who listened to Mr. Sludgy's story during the episode are dressed similarly to Stan Marsh, Kyle Broflovsky, Kenny McCormick, and Eric Hartman, the four protagonists of the adult animated sitcom South Park. Gar's child costume in the episode where he is talking to Santa is similar to a character from the creator's earlier comic Squee. The Body the Vampire doll is a reference to the horror movie The Fly. So Body the Vampire's name was also seen to be a parody of Body the Veggie Vampire, a peculiar poetry book by Chris White, in which a luckless veggie vampire was the plot, and it was first published in 2000. And she could possibly be a reference to Ragamuffin from the comic, Lenore the cute little dead girl, and both dolls are vampires and dolls, except Vidi is just a plush doll and Ragamuffin is a vampire that is cursed to be a doll forever by a witch because he killed her sister, even when he was revived by Lenore's embalmed blood. Mr. Sludgy's comment of Zim hated humans more than anything is similar to a line from How the Grinch Stole Christmas. The Grinch hated Christmas more than anything. Coincidentally, the Grinch and Zim play similar roles in their respective specials. Both despise a certain group of people and hatch a plan to ruin Christmas for them, which involves masquerading as Santa Claus. Needless to say, Zim's plan is slightly more violent. However, Grinch has a change of heart and fixes his mistake, while Zim forces a crowd of people to attack Dib, putting the blame on him. According to the commentary for the episode, the explanation was by the time that this special was occurring, Zim does gain a soft spot for Earth, making him and the Grinch completely similar. And the scene where the mutant Santa Claus tries to reach through the mech's shield with his tongue is an obvious reference to the film Aliens, which also featured a similar climatic showdown. Zim's Arcade Christmas banner bears a striking resemblance to the flag of Germany, due to the red, black, and white color scheme. And in the uncut version, there was a different version of the Jingly Bells scene in the animatics. In the commentary for the episode, most of the fun reveals that Gaz, in spite of her cool nature and her ego, can actually show love. When Zim asked Minnie Mouse how much money they earned from donations, there was actually some money in the box. And there's a reason why Zim says that Minnie Mouse has been with them all this time. According to the unaired episode Nubs of Doom, it was supposed to air before this. In it, Zim created Minnie Mouse. However, when Invader Zim was cancelled, Nubs of Doom and the Most Horrible Christmas Ever were still being made. So Nick had decided to let the staff finish The Most Horrible Christmas Ever. But that was the only new episode that was allowed to air after Zim's cancellation, which caused a plot hole. And it was odd that the Mole Santa was not afraid of the fact that he was kidnapped by Zim, who was out in disguise, but he did not even get a chance to react to Minnie Mouse. When Professor Manbrain leaps into the air, he somehow shoots a beam of energy. It was later revealed in the Netflix film Enter the Florpus that he has robotic arms, explaining how he's able to do this. Keep the scene when the Santa suit mutates, though he has one error, most likely an animation error. When Zim throws Minnie Mouse down after using him as binoculars, a heart falls out of Minnie Mouse's donations box. This is the final time Zim breaks the fourth wall in this episode when he says Merry Platypus to the audience with Gar waving to them. And when Dick causes a citywide blackout, the scene was actually recycled from the episode Mega Doomer, while Zim's flashback to how he made the suit was reused from Best's Friend. And this was the first time in the series that we see the sky blue. The second to last time was in Enter the Florpus. For some reason, the Mastiff was purple rather than red like all previous episodes. When the crowd is booing at Dib, he is forced to duck and you can actually hear a gunshot ring out. Afterward, he is forced to leave back as a car gets flung at him. On the Horrible Holiday Cheer DVD, the title says The Most Horrible Christmas Ever Part 1 twice. According to Melissa Phan, the voice of Gaz, she did higher notes of the Jolly Bits of Doom song. Once being a singer herself, she even had a chance to write the lyrics. Presumably, Gaz stayed behind at her father's anti-Santa arsenal or flew tax ship home, as she was not probably seen when Dib took the giant mech to fight the Santa suit. This was the only Season 2 episode to premiere, let alone air on Nick. All other completed Season 2 episodes would soon premiere on Nicktoons Network 4 years later. This episode airs after all of the other aired Season 2 episodes in terms of production order in Australia, unlike in the United States where it aired before all the other Season 2 episodes. In terms of plotline, it fits better at the end of Season 2. A season-long chapter involves Dib trying to get tax ship to work, and in this episode, Gaz does successfully. According to Nickelodeon and Paramount Global, they received 103 complaints from angry parents saying that their children were frightened by the mutated Santa suit, and this was the last episode to premiere on Nickelodeon. In the episode, we found out that Zim never conquered the Earth due to Mr. Sludgy being able to tell the story 2 million years in the future. It also implies that Zim was at some unspecified point discovered by the human race, since Mr. Sludgy knows about him. And this episode re-aired on Nicktoons during the 25 Days in Nickmas 2020. The quarterly 3 story of Fistmas reveals that in-universe, Zim was the one responsible for his attempt to conquer the Earth during Christmas to be known as the most horrible Christmas ever. Despite Mr. Sludgy saying that Santa returns to Earth every Christmas, and the quarterly 3 issue reveals that it wasn't entirely the case, as it took 1,000 years for the Santa suit to regain some power, thanks to an alien hive and returning to spread Christmas cheer. Although this episode is officially the series finale by production order, the fry cook that came from all that space is the last episode to have been aired. It's unknown whether the Christmas future timeline is canon or not. The uncut version of the episode can be viewed in full versions in some web sources. Just before the Jolly Bits of Doom song began, when the crowd has their arms raised, there appears to be someone flipping the bird with both hands. When the elves take Tib away to the Jingle Jail, Gurg can be seen taken away too. In the uncut version, an Ian Graham cameo is crushed by part of the teleporter. This was inevitably cut because of Nickelodeon's aversion to killing off characters. Nevertheless, even in the final version of the episode, the character's brother Chris can still be seen sobbing and clutching his brother's hand. While Zim is screaming after he sees the Santas, the camera pans out, and the people around him are blurry, but one looks like the original creator's character, Johnny from Johnny the Homicidal Maniac. And when Dib pins the mutant Santa to the wall, a bloody Gurg has said to be seen under Santa's tongue when he roars, and this remains unconfirmed. And Dib's mech has smiling faces on large canisters.
Now you know!
So I'll give my Christmas special a 4.5 out of 5.
This special's rating is an 8 out of 10. Next time,
We are October Pretty
thank you so much for watching, everyone. What do you think? If you appreciated it, please be sure to smash that like button, and be sure to follow my social media platforms in the description below, and the Team Lifeflight's fandom channel. Please be sure to leave a comment below, and give us your open-minded thoughts. We here at Team Lifeflight's fandubs do not condone harassment, violence, or trolls allowed, or otherwise, Red Hoek and Comedy Central's The Ren and Stimpy Show will haunt you down to the ends of the Shadow Realm. So please be sure to subscribe to our channels and click the notification bell. You'll never miss this video the second it goes live on YouTube and Google. With all that being said, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you all next time. Happy holidays, and have a happy new year, and best wishes for all!